Hi, everyone. I'm Taylor. I'm one of the admissions counselors here at Kentucky Wesleyan, and I have several people joining me today. We're going to talk about fraternity and sorority life here on campus, and I'm going to go ahead and introduce Michael, who is joining me. Michael, tell me a little bit about what you do on campus.
Thank you, Taylor. As Taylor said, I'm Michael McComas. I'm the Director of Student Involvement here at Kentucky Wesleyan, so I oversee all of our registered student organizations, our alternative breaks programs, our campus signage, and then the best part of my job is overseeing fraternity and sorority life at campus and working with all of the presidents that you're going to meet today. We do have one president that was unable to join us, and that was Dakota Rhodes. He is the president of Sigma Alpha Mu Fraternity. If you have any questions about fraternity and sorority life, you can speak with the people that you're going to meet through this video, or you can come speak with me, and I'm going to pass it along to Emma.
Hey everyone, so my name is Emma Darnell. I am the president of Alpha Omicron Pi here on campus. So I'm also an RA. I am an SI, which is a supplemental instructor for some classes. I'm also the president of the chemistry club. So that's a little about me.
I'll go. So hi everyone, my name's Brooklyn Moore. I'm the president of Kappa Delta. I'm also a student orientation leader. I'm a student leader in our KW 101 class and in one of them. And I'm a part of the Dance Purple executive board team. And I'm also the president of KA, Aspiring Educators Club, so for teachers.
All right. I'm Jackson Lindsay from Sigma Nu, and I'm a junior. I'm a history major with political science minor, and I'm sponsored bow hunter. George.
I'm George Marsch. I'm a senior here at Kentucky Wesleyan College. I am a criminal justice major, and I'm the president of Sigma Phi Epsilon.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. I know we have a very active campus here at Wesleyan, and we have lots of organizations for you guys to pick. And of course, our fraternity and sorority life recruitment is kind of a big thing that happens on campus in the fall. So I'm actually going to throw it over to Michael. What does recruitment kind of look like so these students can get kind of an idea of how it starts throughout the year?
Yeah, so when we're not in the COVID-19 world, we do have structured recruitment in the fall semester. So with the women for sororities, we actually went to a new style just this past year. Instead of a full week of events, they had a weekend of events, which started on a Friday night. You got to know the chapters in that first meeting, and then Saturday you were to come back to two different events. You met in the morning, and then you were invited back in the evening. And so those two different sessions, you could learn about the chapters, philanthropy events, their different things that they do throughout the year. They also make sure that they give you information about the financials within their organizations, as far as like the new member cost, what it's going to cost once you're a fully initiated member, those recurring payments that you have. And then it's just an opportunity for the girls to get to meet you on a more personal level. And then they have bid day on the Sunday, which is the last day of recruitment, where everyone kind of gathers in the chapel, and all at the same time, everyone opens their envelopes, which reveals the bids that they've received for sorority recruitment. Fraternity recruitment is a week-long event with the first night is kind of what we call round robin. So you get to know each chapter for a certain number or a certain amount of time, and then you move on to the next chapter. Once you've met all three chapters, you have the ability to go back to another chapter and kind of hang out for the rest of the evening until the end period of recruitment for that evening, which typically goes until 11 o'clock is kind of the shut-off time that we stop recruitment for the men on those nights. And then each fraternity has its own individual night where they do kind of the same thing as the sororities, talk about their philanthropies, different programs they plan throughout the year, let you know about their new member education process, their financial process, all those things that would be things that you need to know. This year, with COVID-19, everyone's kind of has shifted to a virtual recruitment style. And so that opened at the beginning of July, and chapters are able to plan their own virtual events at their own pace. And so you just tune into either a Zoom meeting or a Microsoft Teams meeting, and they do different activities. I know some of them had, I think it was paint night, or that's one that's coming up with sororities. They're still recruiting. And then the gentlemen have events that they're planning as well. Did I miss anything, guys?
Nope, looks like they're all shaking their heads yes. So a lot of questions that we were getting this year, I know with everything going a little differently this season, we got a lot of what are the requirements? So what all does it take on, let's say, an incoming senior from high school, they just graduated, so they're coming as a freshman in the fall. So what do they need to do requirement-wise to be able to go through recruitment?
So for ALPI, what we do is there is a GPA requirement. So once after your first semester as a freshman, we do require that you have a 2.5 GPA. And then if you want to be in leadership, we require a 2.75 GPA. And then for as far as like time commitment goes, for just a member, we say to kind of block like 2 to 4 hours of your time. And then for a leadership member, we say like 6 to 8 hours a week. But it's not that bad. So that's what we require at least.
Perfect. Anybody else? Kind of the same?
Kind of the same. For Kappa Delta, if you're an incoming freshman, like from high school, we require a cumulative 3.0 GPA from high school. And let's say if you, like I did, I waited till my sophomore year to go through. If that's the case, then we require a 2.6 cumulative GPA from your like previous semester of college, just because typically college is harder than high school, so that's why it's a little lower. And that's about it for us in terms of like a requirement for going through.
Perfect. Boys, kind of about the same? They're both shaking their head. So obviously, while we got what to expect going in, we're going to talk about now what it's like once you actually decide to join. So I'm sure each of you guys joined your organizations for a particular reason. So if you guys want to kind of talk about like why did you go through recruitment, or why did you choose the organization of your choice?
I guess.
Jackson, you can go first.
All right, my bad. So for Sigma Nu, they reached out to me in high school, which I don't really know if that was allowed at the time, but I came and hung out with them at 18. So we went bowling and we went to the trampoline park, but it was a one-time thing. So and then when I got on campus, like I like met more like of the guys, because the guys that reached out to me were high school guys that like I played baseball and football with around here, being from Ohio County, 30 minutes down the road. So I already kind of personally knew them. That's kind of how I got my foot in the door in the sense. But once I got here, like I met all three fraternities, and that was just the one I just felt at home with.
So for me, I really didn't want to go through. I'll be honest, like initially I didn't really want to join Greek life. Upon getting to campus, I got around some guys from SIGEP because they were on the same cross country and track program as me. So once I got around them, I got to know them, and then just kind of got introduced to the fraternity as time went on. And then I just signed an open bid, and I loved it. Never looked back ever since.
So I actually went through formal recruitment my freshman year. So I live about 4 hours away. So I just kind of wanted to join something that was one bigger than myself, and also like I could feel at home here, and that helps me not get as homesick. So that's why I went through.
I kind of went through for the same reason as Emma. Again, I didn't go through till sophomore year, and so freshman year, kind of making that transition was really rough. And so I heard such good things about Greek life, and I thought I'd give it a shot. And I ended up clicking with Kappa Delta mainly because of their, one of our philanthropies is confidence, and so we promote confidence in women, and that's something that I have always struggled with, and so it just kind of felt right to go Kappa Delta and to hopefully kind of improve that aspect, and so yeah.
Perfect. So obviously I know just, based on social media, movies, TVs, Greek life, sororities and fraternities, they can just have kind of like this connotation behind them. Obviously we are a much smaller school here. So what advice can you give to our incoming students as far as like, why is it different here? In that kind of sense.
I know with Kappa Delta, we have a strict no hazing policy. And I'm sure that's with other everyone else here. Even though we are at a small school, it really is different. There's nothing like that. And let's just say for some reason it does happen. I mean, there are extreme punishments for the initiated member that went through that does that, and there's like no tolerance for it whatsoever. So we definitely we promote that sense of community, and we just don't do that.
Yeah, so going off of what Brooklyn said, we have a strict no hazing. The school has it as well as AOPI has it as well. And then, so one thing, we're just so small. The highest number that sororities can have is 39. And I think that makes for a lot closer knit of a community. So you'll always see a sister in a class or in the hallway, or someone to just go get lunch with outside. So it's definitely a lot closer knit. And I think that because of that, kind of the norms of sorority and fraternity life just kind of get thrown out the window as far as what we see on social media and in the movies and stuff.
So I know, like, speaking for SIGEP personally, our chapter room is entirely substance free. That's a SIGEP policy. So like SIGEP houses across the nation are also substance free and alcohol free. So the like alcoholic partying that you probably see on like movies and stuff really isn't what you would see in like an average SIGEP house, or in any SIGEP house nowadays. So we really push academics. We are a core group of guys. We don't have a lot. I think right now we only have like 15. So with that, we're very closely almost like a brotherhood. I mean, that's really like what it is. We all know everything that's going on within each other's personal lives. And so that also, since we do know each other down to even a personal level, you have the opportunity to really gain like leadership experience. You don't have to necessarily be like on our EC or even in my chair as like president in order to lead your core group. We all just kind of feed off each other and move forward together.
Yeah, basically piggybacking off George, like with it being such a small campus, you're going to have these kind of organizations be kind of smaller in a sense, just due to the demographics. We can't be like WKU with 80 guys in one fraternity and all that. So in a sense, I feel like in a whole, our organizations are more tight-knit in my perspective with what we've experienced with other chapters outside, like traveling up to headquarters and meeting that chapter and everything. So like I will say, meeting everybody beforehand, joining, and then being in one now, like I will say that everybody is really tight knit, and in the long run, it benefits you more than what you would think coming into school.
Perfect. I love those answers. And I'm going to kind of piggyback also off George, and you talked about like leadership skills within an organization. So that's kind of a perk, I guess, of these organizations in general, is that you have a lot of these skills that you can kind of translate to resume building and just outside essentially networking. So does anybody want to kind of piggyback off that with, planning different events, any connections that you guys have?
So sorry, George. Going off that, I know for like as Sigma Nu, like as president, they have like this conference that they call it College of Chapters, and basically you go to headquarters up in Lexington, Virginia, and it's like a full weekend of leadership courses and everything. And so on the networking aspect and leadership skills, like I found it like really beneficial. Like the regent of our fraternity, which is like the national president, he took the time to meet every single president of every chapter. And then on the like networking side, like our little group of guys in like our, I guess, area, you could say like WKU, Bowling Green State and all them, we all keep in contact. But then like me personally, I have like probably 78% of every president of Sigma Nu in the nation phone number. Like they made sure like everybody like talked in a sense to get to know each other, just to see like the networking side was really good and helped and really beneficial.
Yeah, so like with the leadership skills, for example, like I've been in 3 different EC positions as far as like our chapter goes, just kind of like moving up the rankings basically. So I've learned different skill sets, as well as it allows me now as president to also issue those skill sets back out to help some of the newer guys, as well as putting them in positions to where they're kind of making decisions for themselves in order so that whenever like I'll leave and like the younger guys get older, whenever they get like a seat as in like the president or vice president, they're going to know what to do. As far as networking, so we talk pretty regularly to like alumni in this region. As far as like I was just talking to Vaughn Peterson, which is one of our alumni here recently, probably like 2 days ago, as well as with like SIGEP. So I contacted our our regional director. He put me in a SIGEP group chat with all the other presidents. And then I contacted him again and asked if we could get put in like a separate group chat with SIGEP chapters that are under 50 people. So by using that, now I can feed off other presidents with smaller chapters in order to like come up with new ideas for events, and just like see how their mindset is as far as like being a smaller chapter in a big fraternity. So by doing so, we had a lot of events actually planned out already this year before COVID kind of hit. So obviously a lot of those events we'll just have to save for in the future. That sucks, but I mean, you got to work with everything that's going on. So hopefully in the future, some of the guys coming up, I'll be able to share those events with them, and that's also keeping the group chat going to where I can leave and I can just add in next year's president. Like we've already decided that across the board, so they can keep like the momentum going as far as that goes.
Yeah, with Kappa Delta, so one thing that I really like in terms of leadership opportunities is every member, whether you're on like council or not, like you have an appointed position. So it could be something as small as like sisterhood chair, where you plan sisterhood events, or wellness chair where you're just checking in with sisters weekly, to something as big as being like vice president public relations or president or something like that. So everyone has that opportunity to do something, to where you're not just in chapter and you're like, oh well, I'm just here and I just go to meetings. You know, you have something that you can work for and work towards to better your leadership skills. As far as networking, we have a bunch of local alumni, since a lot of teachers and things like that, like especially in my field, like I'm an elementary education major, and so I can't tell you how many times I've went and observed in the schools in Ohio County, in Davis County, and the teacher I'm observing is a Kappa Delta, and so it's really neat to go out in your field or your major and see, have that instant connection with someone, just because you're both a part of the same sisterhood. And so we also have like alumni relations, and so we have that chair, and we had a really cool alumni event scheduled for last semester, but we're gonna have to move virtually. So we try and do one of those every year, or even every semester. So we try to keep close contact with them too, and get like maybe for our newsletters, we ask for advice like from alumni, so our current chapter members too can see like what they think about after college or like during college and things like that.
So for AOPI, kind of like what Brooklyn said, every member is a part of something. So if you're not a part of our LC, which is our council, you're appointed to a committee. And so the committee could be under philanthropy, and they help the philanthropy vice president pick, things to do or give them events ideas. And then so for networking, AOPI has actually just started a new thing. It's called Mentor Power Hours. So any alum from AOPI, they can get on, and we can kind of have like a virtual meeting with them, ask questions, ask them about schooling, ask them about grad school, and make those connections. I made a connection with a doctor I think she's from Chicago. And so I got to talk to her because I'm planning on going to med school. So I got to talk to her, and that was really cool. And we do have a lot of interest with that. So that's really cool for AOPI.
Awesome. So obviously those are a lot of great ideas that you guys have shared and stuff, but now I'm going to ask you your favorite part. So I'm sure you might have already touched base on it, but you can talk about an event that you guys were a part of. It can be whatever year, because I don't know if most of your juniors or seniors. It could be anything along your 3 to 4 years. I know, no pressure, guys. I see all your thinking faces. So take it away. Don't all jump at once, guys.
So our philanthropy is SOA, so it's typically strikeout arthritis, but we can change the S, and so we did a scrunch out arthritis where we sold scrunchies. We also did a sandwich out arthritis where we bought Chick-fil-A sandwiches and brought them to school and sold them to make money. And so that's always really fun to raise money for our philanthropies. And then also just to have fun with your sisters and to figure out new ways to get that S innovated into stuff. So that's really fun.
So it's kind of hard to pick. Every Tuesday we have a thing called BHD, Brotherhood Development. And within that, we'll do anything from just like playing sports to like playing card games to even doing like TV card games kind of. And then we'll also have like a learning event once every month as well within it. Between all of those, it's hard to pick because I don't know, I feel like something always happens at every single one of them. So if I could just lump all that into just saying that my favorite thing is just every Tuesday night, I would definitely just pick that.
In my 3 years, I think probably the best memory and like something I'll definitely brag about to people in the future, and I still brag about, was the Take Your Breath Away challenge when we did the world's hottest pepper. I think at the time it was the Carolina Reaper. It was like the hottest pepper you could buy on the market, and whoever raised $20 would have to eat a pepper, and then whoever raised the most money had to eat 2 peppers. Well, thankfully I didn't get the most money, but looking back, it wasn't that hot. It's the fear in it, but at the moment, I think we can also, like, in the long run, like, for what we raise money for, Young Life and everything, like, that definitely makes you feel good and hurt at the same time.
Mine would have to be a combination between our Shamrock Winks and our formals. So the Shamrock Wink is kind of like our wink to raise money for really 2 of our philanthropies. One's Prevent Child Abuse America, and then the other is New Beginnings Women's Shelter. And so it's just really cool each year whenever our community service thinks of different things. Like typically we have a bake sale. I think this year, since we're going to have it virtually, I think it's going to be like a boutique kind of sale. And so like 10% of all proceeds will go towards our philanthropy. So it's really neat just to kind of have those different events and raise money for something bigger than ourselves at the same time. And then the formals are really fun just because it's fun to dress up with everyone and take pictures and, just take a night to where we can not worry about school because that's always the stressor during the week. So it's super fun just to kind of hang out with one another and bond. So.
See, guys, that wasn't so hard. It was just that you have so many good memories. You didn't know which one to pick. No, I think those are some good ones. So I want to thank you guys all for joining me today. Hopefully you guys out there learned something today. If you guys have any more questions, like Michael said earlier, you are more than welcome to reach out to any of us. You can find all of that info online on our website. And so we hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.